for the vision is yet for an appointed time. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Several central banks have, like the Bank of England, already prepared their microchip implant RFID chip to be implanted under your skin.
Implanted under your skin. So that is the plan.
The central bankers of the world are working together to create a one-world government, a global police state as sinister as anything George Orwell ever wrote about, where every person on the planet Earth will have an RFID chip implanted, where the bankers and the governments can monitor every transaction you make.
And everybody would be the universal monetary system par excellence, because there'd be no escape from it, and you'd be totally under the control of those who issue the electronic impulses in that fashion.
I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody to control the whole society. To have the bankers, the elite people, the bankers and some governor controlling the world.
They're going to come up with creative ways. It's either going to be through, in order to access, through rations, to access food and fuel, something that you need, that you have to have, therefore you have to consent.
You can't buy food, you can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
They had reasons for the use of this technology other than the one that was intended at the meeting. And in fact, their largest concern was, how fast could we make a couple billion of them? And could we each give each one of those a unique identity number? Now, this particular pill-shaped device, very minute, had a lot of flexibility in its capabilities. It was basically just almost a transponder. You would send a frequency to it, and it would respond back with its unique number, which could not be changed once the chip was made. Yet there were a lot of capabilities that could be added to this, such as monitoring temperature, blood pressure, pulse, and even waveforms out of the brain. But that was for research down the road.
All right, well, what if you could pay for your groceries with the swipe of your hand? Well, Sweden is making your sci-fi fantasies come to life. At least 4,000 people have had a microchip about the size of a grain of rice implanted into their skin. The technology is used to replace credit cards and cash, but can also be used to measure some biological data. Now, naysayers of this have concerns over the safety of technology. They also note there may be a link between the doubling cybercrime rate in Sweden over the last 10 years. But Andy Serwer, if you had the option to perhaps have this little piece of rice, let's say right in the fatty part between your index finger and your thumb, kind of a neutral part of the body, just right in there, all of a sudden you're ready to go.
No doubt I'd try it.
Sure.
I mean, I would try it. And we were just talking during the break, Miles, about the implications, and then the problem with it I see is, okay, it's fail-safe, except don't you ever want another family member to use your account? Right. And so you can't trade it off. I'm not going to rip it out, but could I trade the purchasing power to you if you had one in your hand and go,
like
boom.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is coming. And then whose is it? Is it the banks? Is it the government of Sweden? Is it Google?
The manufacturer
yeah,
of it,
or
maybe?
who is it?
Right.
Who's it connect? Is it Square? Who runs this thing? I mean, there's a million questions, but there is no doubt in my mind that this is coming. Now that I think about it, there's another option as well, which is, why can't you just do retinal? In other words, that's sort of, you walk in and it just sees who you are. Right. So why do I need an implant at all if it can tell who I am by reading my biometrics somehow?
I'd actually prefer, I think if we want to do that example, right? And you've spent enough time in China to know there's facial recognition everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd prefer to have something implanted like in my hand than to have my face recognized in a database. because at least this is part of me, right? And presume it has some sort of health monitoring, so it knows that, you know, my blood pressure is about this, my heart rate's about that, my body temperature tends to be in this range. So let's say I'm running a fever, knows I'm not well, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The facial recognition is pure surveillance. Well, I don't really love that.
Yeah, I don't care. You know how I feel about that, though, Miles? I'm not
Is
doing
what it
anything
is.
wrong. I don't
Right,
care.
I know.
And, you know, I just want ease of use. But no doubt, all three of those things will be in play as we look to pay for things, check our health, and have our identity tracked.
All your money is going to be in that shape. It's going to be a cashless society.